Okay.
Hello. Sorry for the delay. I don't know. We just couldn't get our Zoom to YouTube connection going, but we're up and running now. We're about almost 15 minutes late. I hope you'll stay with us throughout the service. We'll begin then with Kancho. Good morning. Sorry for the delay. Um We'll begin this morning service with Sambujo, followed by a reading of Jusege. If you'll please join us, we'll begin this morning service.
随和着手啊，那西着不出诺，要说着结果，可条米什么，随不着手啊。也有可经受人，这也是梦呀，心个么着呢，一生天宁心，今日天来过。不什么才能说这三苦哟？可才是呀苦难，开一起年，没是空安。해성 쇼아군노 쯔다 쯔센슈모 고서조만소 이여러 지포 이칭나 쯔슈주기天空不言，一世开火作，可谁可那苦火，就来世者，什么是心路？可要以塞么？可松是同母，干内是出家嘛？可苦以上爱我，要不怎么念经？这大众一不说，让啊可以，可是才说son，心安呀可卡，百姓诺看诺。我可说天宁，我无天有天。 Namanda, Namandas, Namanda, Namandas. Will you please join now in the reading of the three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures, the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of thy doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal brotherhood, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of this teaching. Again, thank you everyone for joining us for this morning's service. We'll have a Dharma message from Mikami Sensei.
Hey, good morning, everyone. So I'd like to read Wasan, written by our founder Shinon Shonin. Please join me in Gassho. Amida has fulfilled the trickling of virtue, which has two aspects: that for our going forth and that for our return. Through these aspects of Buddha's directing of virtue, we are brought to realize both mind and practice. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay. So our founder Shiron Shoni wrote many books, and his main writing is known as Kyogyo Shinsho. Actually, I haven't read many books because it makes me really feel sleepy once I start reading books. So it is still hard for me to finish books, basically. But Shinon Shonin's books are different. Even if I'm not good at reading books, this is the books I try to read, no matter how long it takes. This is a book I need to read throughout my life, enter life, because it says about my life. There's a line in the very beginning of the chapter of teaching in his main writing, Kyogyo Shinsho, reverently contemplating the true essence of the Pure Land way. I see that Amida's directing of virtue to sentient being has two aspects: the aspect for our going forth to the Pure Land, and the aspect for our return to this world. As Shinon Shonin says here, there are two aspects of Amida's directing virtue. In Japanese, also, which is the aspect for going forth to the Pure Land, and Genso, which is the aspect for our return to this world. This sounds like also and Genso are different things, but actually also and Genso are not separated, no separate virtue of Amida. One thing, but two aspects. Here's a sheet of origami paper. How do you see this origami paper? Maybe now you're seeing blue origami paper, right? But actually, it looks a little bit different from my side. It's actually red from my side, right? So this origami is one same sheet, but it is by color, as you can see, the red side and blue side. So the same with Amida Buddha's directly virtue. Its virtue are also and genso also going to the Pure Land. And from a different view, genso genso our return to this world. There are two sides of the same coin. We are born into human beings, and we are living in this world. But eventually, each of us, need to end this lives someday in the future. Nobody can avoid their death. Nobody knows what's happening after death because nobody has ever died and explained what happened. Are we going to be nothing, disappear to somewhere, entering in the niche or in the grave, or going to the pitch darkness eternally? If so, I'm so scared. 3 weeks ago, I had a power outlet outage in my apartment. It started from 7:30 p.m. to the midnight. Yeah, with electricity, it was so dark and I couldn't see anything. I couldn't do anything at all. No TV, no light. I feel so lonely at the time. If darkness and loneliness come to us at the end of this life, I think it's so terrible. Our hearts is filled with many sufferings, fears, and anxieties toward our unidentified and unknown future. But Mira always assured us to be born into Pure Land, not disappearing to somewhere or born to a dark place alone. This is his primal vow. What is also that is a virtue to lead our lives to the Pure Land. Shinon Shonin compared this Amida's great virtue as a giant ship. Amida's giant ship can accommodate every living thing. So it's so big. The captain is Amida Buddha. The destination is to the Pure Land. Amida has already given us a board on its huge ship, and we are assured to be born to Pure Land. And now we are on its way. However, as this ship is invisible, we tend to wonder if it's real. No, now that we cannot travel to anywhere because of its pandemic. But let's say when you travel to Hawaii, all you need is to board on the airplane to Hawaii, right? And when you travel to Japan, you will board on the airplane to Japan. Airplane is visible and easy to understand maybe. According to your destination, you just need to board on the airplane and it takes you to the destination for sure. Maybe it's easier to imagine than something invisible and hard to understand. Shinon Shonin states in this Gatha, Shoshinge, as follows. The name embodying the primal vow is the act of the true settlement. That means our birth in the Pure Land is already settled by the name Namo Amida Butsu, embodying Amida's primal vow. The invisible inconceivable virtue was embodied by Amida in the name Namo Amida Butsu. We recite it here so that we can perceive it with ease. So Amida's virtues are already here. They reach us now through our reciting here in Namo Amida Butsu. This is what Shirani understands. Namo Amida Butsu is filled with Amida's virtue, and your reciting here in Nembutsu assured us to read us and to be born in the Pure Land. This is also, but still, one side of the Jodo Shinshu. I thought it is like a round trip ticket, but when you travel to somewhere, you will use one word ticket, ticket, and you will go when you go home. You will use return ticket. This is a round ticket, right? But this is not not the one. As I said earlier, also going to the Pure Land and Genso are not separate. They are two sides of the same coin. So once going to the Pure Land, that means you also return to this world to save sentient beings. That means us, every living thing. Maybe this is really hard for us to believe this. When you hear the teaching of Buddhism, we should put aside our experiences and common sense and prejudice and hear as it is, because Buddhism is beyond our common sense. When you hear return to this world, you may try to find the exact place. But in this case, this doesn't show us a place. Maybe our ancestors accept the Genso virtues of Buddha or nature alive through reciting the Hearing Nembutsu here. When I was studying Buddhism at Buddhist seminary in Kyoto, one day I joined the morning service with sitting on the tatami mat or honganji alone. A Buddhist minister gave a Dhamma talk about this Genso and also at the time. I thought I had already understand the method of Go also and Genso, but at that time I felt I could deeply understand these two virtues in my heart, and suddenly I couldn't stop crying. I wasn't sad at all at the time, but I think I was just so glad and felt deeply relieved after hearing it. I remember my mother's side, Oji-chan, my grandfather. He passed away about 10 years ago. My Oji-chan ran a small local grocery store in a small town of Shimane, Japan. It's just like a Sento market here. So when my family visited him, he always asked me, "Hey, Etsuko, you want ice cream? Have an apple? Hey, eat a lot." And fed us a lot, and he spoiled us a lot. He was quiet, but he was always kind to us, especially me. So I really loved Oji-chan. When I was a high school student, he was diagnosed with stomach cancer. I visited him several times after being diagnosed, but he always welcomed me with his gentle smile. But I was sad to see him getting skinny every time I visited him. After graduating from high school, I moved to Tokyo for university. He came to see me off to the airport and said, "I am looking forward to seeing you when you come back in summer vacation." I didn't imagine that would be a last conversation between us. During my first midterm exam in the university, my father called me 100 times, but I didn't notice because I had an important examination. And I called him back later. He told me that Oji-chan passed away. It was a customary to cremate the body and conduct the funeral service in the very next day, and especially my Oji-chan's region. So I couldn't see his face, and I couldn't attend his funeral service because I had another important exam for a week in Tokyo. So I couldn't believe it is real. Soon after finishing the exam, I visited his house in Shimane. My grandmother, Oba-chan, welcomed me and chatted with her, and everything seemed same as usual. But I found only Oji-chan wasn't there. Seeing the family altar, I found Oji-chan's picture and his ashes here there. However, even after seeing his picture in his ashes, I couldn't believe it for it real yet. Since I didn't hear the teaching of Buddhism yet at the time, So I felt like I was left behind, alone, and I felt empty. That had been in my mind for a long time. However, when I heard the Buddhist minister's talk at Honganji, I felt I encountered Buddha's compassion. The minister introduced a poem written by Reverend Nakanishi. It goes like this: even though the person has gone, kindness still remains here. Even though the person has gone, the word still remains here. Even though the person has gone, smile still remains here. Your loved one returns in your hands in Gasho. With joy, we're living in the same Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, we chant. For a long time, I thought I had been separated with Oji-chan, but the minister made me realize I wasn't. We were separated. We weren't separated, but Oji-chan was always with me as Buddha, even if I didn't know. In my reciting Nembutsu Namo Amida Butsu, I felt I could encounter Oji-chan's kindness again. So that is why I was so happy that I couldn't stop crying at the time. The Buddhist term sounds always difficult, especially also and genso sounds so difficult at first for me. If you couldn't accept them for our life, if we couldn't accept them for our life, these would be just the knowledge or information. But when you accept the virtues for our own lives, we will know it is a great virtue that makes us the Buddha who returned to this world and lead every living thing in this world. When we recite Nembutsu, we are nurtured by our loved one who already become a Buddha anywhere and in any time. And Amida Buddha will lead us to the Buddha's way here and now. Thank you for listening. So I'd like to conclude this Dhamma talk with Gasho. Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo
Namo
Amida Butsu.
Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei. I often have the opportunity to preview Sensei's Dharma talk. She kindly asks for my advice regarding the Dharma message, correcting her syntax or some of the words that she might be using, or choice of words. And there's very little actually that I have to offer in the way of correcting her Dharma messages. They're always so heartfelt, so connected to the Dharma as well as our lives. So thank you, Sensei, for this morning's Dharma talk. Today, this afternoon this evening at 5 o'clock, we have a special service that will be held jointly with the San Mateo Buddhist Temple. Henry Adams Sensei has made arrangements for Gi-e Sasaki Sensei from Japan to speak at this service, and it'll be again a joint service with San Mateo, and will be viewed. You can join us for that service again this evening at 5 o'clock through our regular YouTube channel. So please, the invitation has gone out to the Coast District, so anyone that is interested can join us for the service. Sasaki Sensei will speak in English, and Sasaki Sensei will speak in Japanese, and will be translated by Adam Sensei. And Adam Sensei is a wonderful translator, and he has known Sasaki Sensei for a long time. So I'm sure we will be able to listen to both Sasaki Sensei and get a clear understanding of his message through Adam Sensei's translation. So please join us this evening, 5 o'clock, on our regular YouTube channel. Next week, we begin our regular school year services. We'll have 9:30 Dharma School service, family service, and 10:10 English service. So please do plan to come for that. It'll be, of course, all online, not here in Hondo, all online. So please, again, join us at our YouTube channel. I'll miss, every time we start the school year, all our families and students come to the Hondo, and as the service ends, it's everybody rushes out of the Hondo, going to class or going through their activities here in Japantown. And it's always kind of a wonderful feeling to have so many people in the Hondo and then going off to do their activities. This year again will be different because of the shelter in place. But I know as you join your teachers in your Dharma school classes and come to the services, that we can still share a sense of community, of Sangha, be able to together listen and appreciate the Dharma. So again, thank you for being here this morning. Again, this evening at 5 o'clock, Reverend Sasaki, Reverend Adams, and Ikami Sensei and I will be here for a special service. Please plan to join us for that through the regular YouTube channel. And then next week, service schedule will change. 9:30 family Dharma school service, and at 10:10 our adult English service. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'm sorry about the delay this morning, but hopefully we'll having experienced that, I will be able to make adjustments to the way that we bring this to you. Again, thank you very much. Please take care, stay safe. We'll see you again next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.